Nice. You could go for it first, man. Honestly.
It's all you. You go ahead, do the
Okay.
intro, the market. I loved what you did last night for Let's Talk Crypto. So,
I
oh, I
like
didn't
the new
even know we were
intro. Yeah.
streaming on Instagram. Interesting.
Hey everyone, we are now officially live. Welcome to the Decentralized Masters podcast, your go-to source for everything decentralized finance. I am John. I am here followed with Shivam here today, where we're going to go ahead and guide you through the world of DeFi. Make sure to go ahead and smash that subscribe button. We are here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's go ahead and get started. I already see a few comments going on live right now. Welcome, Mila. I see a DM as well. Let's see who else. John, welcome, John. Great to have you here. Appreciate you. So let's go ahead and go straight into it. I mean, one of the biggest things that we have going on right now, the excitement of Bitcoin now approaching $100,000, which is actually
Oh
pretty big.
yeah,
That's massive, massive news, right? So let me go
it's
ahead and share
massive.
my chart.
It's huge. I
What
actually,
are, what are your thoughts, man?
it's funny, man. I grabbed Chipotle for dinner last night, and then I came home and I was just tired. I passed out super early, around like 9 p.m. my time. And I woke up at like midnight. I was like 100K. I thought I was like disoriented or dreaming. I was like, what is this? And I saw our team chat, and I was like, wow, it actually happened to 100K. Then woke up this morning, went back to sleep, woke up this morning, it was at 103,000. And we can see that people took profits a little from that candle right there, if that's the daily. But yeah, I mean, this is what everyone's been waiting for. Finally breached the 100K wall. And after Trump was announced president, we had about what, a 20% dip, maybe not even, for Bitcoin, and it's continue to pump up. I think a lot of people are hoping for another massive dump, but man, it's pumping. It's really good to see. Fear and greed must be insane right now too. So
Yeah. Greed, definitely fear and greed is through the levels. It's actually quite interesting because you remember how we were talking about it yesterday on Let's Talk Crypto. And for all those that are not aware of, Let's Talk Crypto is a group that we, at least a call, I guess you could kind of call it a podcast similar to, but it's for our private members. And it's pretty interesting because Shivam and I were talking about this, and I mentioned specifically about the fear and greed yesterday, how we were at the extreme levels of greed and Bitcoin was getting a little bit of rejection going on. But the thing that really got a lot of my attention was the liquidation heat map. So we were seeing a lot of liquidations at around, it was 99,000 like 500. And I talked about yesterday how there's a high probability that we could have some sort of short squeeze pushing all the way to the next price target of 103,000. So it's pretty crazy to see that. Yesterday I was doing office hours as well, and we got to witness that live. It was kind of crazy, man. I mean, this
yeah,
used to be a dream for Bitcoin. If you remember last cycle, like $100,000 was like the biggest thing, and like now it's like it's crazy, man. Like you're saying right now, it almost feels abnormal to see that Bitcoin is at $100,000.
it's very euphoric. There's this classic, this very like when Bitcoin hit $100. There's this guy who did this video about Bitcoin hitting $100 and the trading activity on Coinbase, years ago. And they remade that same clip this morning with 100,000, and I think it's just very interesting because we hit 100, 10,000, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and now we're on to claim the next big one, which is going to be a million whenever Bitcoin does get there eventually, right? And if you like, as we discussed last night in Let's Talk Crypto, um, you know, Fed Powell, or Jay Powell, said that Bitcoin is like digital gold, and if he compared Bitcoin's market cap to gold, it said it would be one Bitcoin would be priced at $900,000. And later that evening, last night, we got to 100K. So there's just so much bullishness happening. Yep, there you go. There's that article right there that was discussed yesterday. So it's massive. And going back to what you mentioned about last cycle, I think once Bitcoin got to about 69 to 75K, right around where it peaked at its all-time high, I think the entire industry I certainly was. I don't know if you were part of it. I was like, yeah, 100K, we're within reach, and the
Yeah.
fear and greed was insane. And then we just dumped so hard. We dumped, bear market began, but now, the bull market, we're on a breakout, and we finally have 100K, and it's like now we're like, how high is this banana zone going to go? Because when Bitcoin does start breaking out and from its previous all-time high, it makes a pretty big run. So I'm glad we finally got to 100K. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I wanted to go ahead and share this, man. Now that you mentioned that, with last cycle, the talk being at 100K, but I do want to say, John, good afternoon. He also says hi, John and Shabam. Hi, and then Mila as well. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. Smash that like button.
Yeah,
Uh,
welcome.
but yeah, remember how you were talking about right now about the 100K last cycle? It was actually right here. Like it was around
Yep.
November, and like I always like to tell everyone that usually Bitcoin has a tendency to top off first, and then altcoins and then meme coins top off second. So usually during this cycle, last cycle that we had in 2021, when Bitcoin topped, it was around the top to be exact, and it's going to depend on the exchange you're looking at. Some exchanges say 68, some say 69. Like this one right here on Binance says it was like around 69,000, but that was a top for Bitcoin. And during that time, the talk was about 100K. Everybody was like, yeah, 100K is going to happen. Everybody was so excited, and that euphoria was through the roof. I think there was a lot of greed during that time, and everyone really believed it. I mean, you remember the Plan B, the whole entire thing with Plan B, how he was predicting that Bitcoin to 100,000. You also had, I think Michael Saylor at the time also was heavily
Yep.
into Bitcoin. Is that correct? He bought in like a lot,
That's
I think, around that price.
Yeah, Michael Saylor actually, I feel like entered the picture, specifically going full DGED mode on Bitcoin around these tops. I don't remember him buying sub like 30K until the bear market. I think his first initial purchases were at these peaks right here on the left chart where we first peaked, and then we had that double top. But yeah, he started entering the picture on crypto Twitter right around there, where he said micro strategy is gonna start purchasing Bitcoin as himself personally, and started just having his own Bitcoin podcast as well. And that's where he started promoting it and marketing it as an institutional value. But yeah, certainly that I remember that massive top, and then the market kind of, or Bitcoin dumped and Bitcoin dominance dumped, and then we had a little minor altcoin rally, which we've kind of seen the past few days as well, as Bitcoin dominance dumped significantly. So it's very beautiful to see for the chart to finally reclaim all these levels so easily, and then just make support this entire year just ranging right there. Look at that, just range of support, and it broke through with the breakout, and now we're going higher. We've got to,
Yeah,
what does it peak at on this chart right here?
it peaked at
104.
like 104,
Wow.
104,088.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot to do with the liquidation.
Yep.
Yesterday that happened. There was a lot of liquidations, a lot of shorts that got liquidated out of their positions. I'm sure there's a lot of stop losses there as well. But
Yep.
I did start to see a lot of selling pressure at around 104,000. So like it hit it, and then it started like coming down very quickly. But even to see Bitcoin even right now at 100,000, that's really good. It looks like Bitcoin right now has now established to be somewhat of an area of support right now around the 93. I would say strong support at around 91,000. So it's definitely looking pretty good. We did have that breakout, so now we're going to go ahead and see how it ends, specifically tomorrow. So depending on how the market ends, tomorrow being Friday, I've noticed that usually the market ends on a red tomorrow. That usually means there's going to be a red week ahead of us. So tomorrow's really going to be a huge day. But I mean, overall, Bitcoin's looking pretty good. We talked about a little bit about the fear and greed. Yes, the greed is at extreme greed. Last week we were at greed, but during times like this in the market, and this is the reason why we emphasize DCA strategies and other strategies that Shivam could go ahead and touch on a little bit, like providing liquidity.
Oh
During these
yeah.
times in the market when there's extreme greed, a lot of people automatically think the market should drop. And it makes total sense, but you got to understand that we are in a market of emotions. People are emotional. So, like $100,000 Bitcoin is a huge thing. So, there's going to be a lot of people that are probably going to feel more comfortable, believe it or not, buying at 100,000. I don't know why. Same thing that happened with last cycle with Michael Saylor buying. I think he bought in around $50,000, $60,000, if I'm not mistaken. He bought it
Yep.
near a peak, and I heard a podcast of him. I'm not sure if you've seen it, Shivam, but he literally went all in basically into Bitcoin at like a top, and then next thing you know, Bitcoin tanked like 50 something percent. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy that he was able to hold through all of that. But you got to keep in mind that even though we are in extreme greed, it doesn't mean that the market has to go ahead and come down. I mean, we've been in the greed territory, I would say, for the last 2 weeks, and the market continues to go up, right? So during times like this, in my opinion, always DCA. That is the best way to do it. Don't try to time the market. Don't try to enter positions and take profit and then try to re-enter. If you're not trading this, like if you're not a trader, if you're a long-term investor, take small little profits, 10, 20%, 30%, but don't try to take all your profits and then try to re-enter at a dip, because possibilities of you missing out of the dip. And I like to go ahead and always show the example of Sui, because there's a lot of people waiting for a dip on Sui, and this thing
God,
just took
this
off,
is
right?
insane. Yeah, this is. I mean, I honestly thought. I believe 2 weeks ago when we held this podcast as well, when I was on before Thanksgiving, we did the we measured this dump. I believe it was around 20-30%, and I felt like that was normal for an altcoin during a bull market, and then it kind of pumped up, and then we had that quick retest dump right there, and then it's continued to pump up. So I think a lot of people are still on the sidelines hoping for a larger correction or a dump. If it happens, it's certainly an opportunity, but these 20-30% dumps for altcoins, they're a blessing sometimes, especially when a token like Sweet that's been just leading the market as well, like Solana, Sweet, you can see since it bottomed in August and September, it's done what, 2, 3, 4x since 50
More
cents right
than that.
there.
It's
Yeah,
it's
so
done,
it's
I think over a 6x, if I'm not
yeah.
mistaken, from where we're at.
And as you
From its
mentioned, like,
all-time
no,
previous high, it's about an 8x, and what we're currently at right now, if you were in Sui since August to September, which is an 8x, which a lot of the mentors at Decentralized Masters have been talking about. So if you guys were in there and you guys are in the group, you guys are definitely up in profits a lot.
yeah, and one of my favorite parts, not only just because of the token price appreciating at an 8x, as you can see, but it's also the DeFi opportunities, right? On Sweet, you can utilize a decentralized exchange like Turbos or Cetus,
Well,
where
why
not
don't you
only,
go ahead and share your screen for that, so you can go ahead and kind of do like a little quick little
yeah, let me share my
so
screen.
walkthrough on that.
Where is the screen? Oh, what happened here? I forget I have to open up a new tab.
Yeah, John, that's definitely nuts. 100% agree. And make sure too, as well, go ahead and write down a token you guys want us to go ahead and check out. Any opinions? Obviously, none of this is financial advice, but I definitely do want to go ahead and get everybody engaged. It makes everything a lot more fun. So go ahead and comment down below your opinions, any tokens you want us to go ahead and check out.
Okay, so I'm sharing. Let me know if you can see my
Yeah, we can
screen.
see it. Perfect.
Now, if I change the tab, can you guys see that as well? No, but you can't. Okay, so I'll
No,
have
we're
to
still in
redo.
DeFi Llama. We're still in
Perfect.
DeFi
So I'm
Llama.
gonna I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this tab before I go to a few others. Or actually, let me go ahead and update my screen. Present, share screen. Let's see. Can't figure out why it's not automatically. Um, you know.
So I think you have to share your tab. That's why the way the sharing feature works.
Yeah, let me just combine all of these tabs so it makes it easier. Sorry about this, guys. Just a second. There we go. So now I have them all in one. Share my screen. So let's go ahead and start off with before I jump into Sweet, I just want to cover what John mentioned earlier in liquidations. As you can see, there's been over 200 or 571 million people that have been liquidated in the past 24 hours, longing and shorting. So the liquidity or liquidations are certainly, helping price, pump up or squeeze everything. So it's really good to see, as John mentioned as well in the charts. So that's just something I briefly wanted to cover as well. Um, Let me stop sharing and re-update the tab. Then the second one was going back to Michael Saylor and just the mainstream media. This is a pretty big article by Financial Times. So they wrote an apology about crypto or to anyone who is a subscriber of them, essentially saying that, hey, we've been wrong about crypto for the past 14 years. If you chose based on our coverage not to buy a thing whose numbers has gone up, specifically Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, any altcoin, even XRP. XRP token holders, I feel like I owe you guys an apology for just bashing on you guys for the past month, but you guys have had a pump. There might be a dump, but as you can see, it's nice when your numbers go up, and we're sorry if you misunderstood our crypto cynicism to be a declaration of support for TradFi, because we hate that too. I just feel like that's a nice way of saying, hey, we're sorry about crypto. We thought it was a scam, but in reality, traditional finance is the real scam once you understand what crypto and decentralization and specifically what DeFi is. And we see more of that on a daily basis. So right before I jump to SWE, let me update my screen one more time. So not only have we seen, Jay Powell, Michael Saylor, and all of these people just going on mainstream media apologizing, even Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, going on there saying, "Hey, I was wrong about Bitcoin."
Hey,
Now
Shabam,
we're even,
if you're sharing something, we can't see it. There
yep,
you go.
I think there it goes. So as I shared this yesterday as well, now you can see U.S. lawmakers, a Georgia representative, Michael Collins, has disclosed owning tokens like ETH, Velo, GRT, and Arrow. I'd love to cover Arrow here shortly before after SWE, but Aerodrome and some of these tokens have been just on a tear lately outside of just this disclosure. But we can see that mainstream adoption increasing as well as the narrative uh, by these the Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, all of them just changing their narrative, knowing, hey, this is legitimate. It's more than just a pump and dump scheme. Sure, for meme coins here and there, but there are some legitimate values. So now let's go ahead and take a quick look at SWE, which I am excited about to share. So as I mentioned earlier, or John mentioned as well, the token, the SWE price has appreciated 8x since its bottom around September, right? So if we take a look, it's TVL in DeFi. So for users that are not aware of DeFi Llama, it tracks the on-chain metrics specifically for decentralized finance. So right now we're looking at the TVL, the total value locked in SWE. So there's 1.72 billion, right? In September, when it bottomed, it was only at 20. It was less than 25 million, which is insane. And now, as you can see today, it's at 1.72 billion. So let's just say you bought the token, like a lot of our members did. Instead of just holding it, you can actually do various different strategies by earning passive income on it by providing liquidity. So let's just say you bought 1,000 tokens worth of SWE. If you went to some of these protocols like, DEXs like Cetus or specifically Turbos, right? You could come in here and allocate your tokens, provide liquidity, and earn even more tokens. And I think that's been a real great strategy as a SWE holder. One of the favorite ones, as you can see, SWE USDC, right? USDC is a stable coin pegged to the dollar, 1-to-1 ratio. So $1 is 1 USDC. And if you look at this APR right here, 509.98%. If there's a single person on this planet that can tell me a bank that gives you 50%, I will sell all my Bitcoin right now because I know that's not true. It's just insane, right? And better part is not only do you get that 509%, but you get rewards on a weekly basis. So you can provide liquidity with your SWE, and then you can also earn SWE back. So it's a really nice way to dollar cost average into a token that you're bullish on if you don't want to purchase more. So out of this 509%, we can see that 69.54% are rewards. So you're going to get 69% of SWE tokens for free at the end of the day, while 440% is going to be trading fees from this specific pair. And we can see that the volume for the 24 hours is 12 million. So there's so many opportunities like they're not just for Sui, Say, Solana, Ethereum, even stable coins, depending on your risk allocation to generate yield. But if you want to capture the upside in a bull market, you certainly can by just providing liquidity and dollar cost averaging into these tokens without actually purchasing them, just by providing liquidity. So Turbos and Cetus have been a real great value for a lot of members. I know that a ton of members have been crushing it, just generating yield. Oh, it looks like my screen is still on that. That's terrible.
Yeah, you're
Hold
still on
on.
DeFi.
Let me. Here we go. Let's see. There we go. And so let me go ahead and restart what I was talking about. So now, as you guys can see, here's the SWI USDC as I was referring to. So if you came into this pair with SWI and USDC, you could, as now you can see it updated from 598% for 515.81%. So these values are actually calculated on the volume in the past 24 hours and the fees and the liquidity. So it just decreased from 598 to 515. That's not something really to worry about that much. It's still great value. As I said, if you can find 50% for a traditional bank, I will market sell my Bitcoin for you. But we can see the rewards just went up from 69 to 70%, right? So as I was mentioning, so if you were providing liquidity in here with SWI USDC, you would get SWI tokens back essentially for free just by providing liquidity. So if you had 1,000 SWI since September, you've probably, 2 to 3x the SWI you potentially earned, and the price has appreciated. You're in profit. It's a really good strategy. And one of my favorite strategies specifically for this method has been Aerodrome. We can dive into that shortly. Tammy, I see your comment. This is on Turbos. It's a decentralized exchange specifically for SWI. John, that's a great question. This is the correct space if you want to know what providing liquidity is. So let me go ahead and come in here. So as you can see, this is SWI, the token, and USDC, the stablecoin. What you can do is come in here and select how much you'd like to allocate to provide liquidity into this specific current range, as you can see here. So what we mean when providing liquidity is right now, if you allocated your SWI and USDC into here, long as the price of SWI is between this current price range, you're going to be generating 101.54%. And out of that 101%, you're going to get 87 from the trading fees generated and 13.82 from the rewards. Now, depending on your management and your lifestyle, how active you're able to, look at the markets, you can increase it, which will decrease your current range. Now, there are other ways and protocols that will manage your positions for you, which will take out a stress while also generating rewards and yield and passive income. But at the end of the day, it's essentially you depositing money into a pool where other traders and users are trading, and you providing liquidity. You get rewarded with the transaction fees. And as we can see here in this specific pool, SWI USDC, the fee tier for people providing liquidity is 0.3%. So that's really good, actually. So hopefully that helps right there. Hey, Gerald, good to see you.
Thanks, Tammy. Thank you. Gerald,
Absolutely.
too. Welcome, everyone. Just go ahead and
Yeah,
smash that like button.
yeah.
Yeah,
Smash
very fire
like,
information right here. Keep on asking questions. The more questions you ask, the more we can go ahead and provide a little bit more value with everyone. So definitely continue to ask some questions. But this is some very fire information. So can you touch a little bit about what your strategy was at the time, a few months ago when you were providing liquidity on Sui? Like, did you earn a lot more Sui doing that? And roughly, like, what is an amount that you have to go ahead and put in? Is there a minimum amount required to go ahead and start providing liquidity?
No, there's no minimum amount at all. It's completely up to the user at it that wants to provide liquidity. Now, I will say one of my stronger liquidity provide positions the past few months. I haven't been in Suite too much. I certainly should have been. Just been a bag holder. One of my greater liquidity provider positions has been Aerodrome. And especially since September, that's when the first time that U.S. lawmaker, disclosed of it. And then he actually disclosed it again a few days ago or yesterday, and we can see it's pumped. But Arrow has been certainly one of my larger, positions. So for those of you not aware, Aerodrome is a decentralized exchange on the layer 2 blockchain base, which is built on Ethereum. So if I click on the website and take us to Aerodrome here, I wonder if StreamYard will take us there. It doesn't look like it does. So let me stop sharing and reshare.
Thank you, John. Good to see you as well, Gerald. Smash that like button for us, guys.
So, John, I see your question about so the less people offering liquidity, the better it is to do so. Then that is a yes and no question. You certainly don't want to be entering into a liquidity pool with less than 200, 300K liquidity. You certainly could enter there, but you don't want to enter into a pool with, if there's 100,000 in the pool, you don't want to enter in with 100,000. Sure, you could enter in with maybe 5,000 or so, and you can generate higher rewards. So yeah, the APY is kind of an inverse relationship sometimes with the TVL, with the APR and Y. So if you are able to enter in early, yeah, that 500 would most likely be over 1,500% certainly. So let's go back to Aerodrome here. So this is the protocol I was talking about. Specifically, it's been a really great DEX to provide liquidity because, as I mentioned, just like on turbos, if you come into this incentivized area, what that means is you're going to provide liquidity, but as well as earn an incentivized token. And the token that's being incentivized on Aerodrome is their own token, Arrow, which I just showed you has been pumping. So one of the specific tokens that I've been in, or the two pools primarily, has been Degen. It's been killing it. It's a semi meme coin, but with utility. This Rapdeep Degen pool, you can see it's 3,000. A few days ago, this was at 9,000%. The TVL has certainly increased because usage is increasing on base. But outside of that, USDC and Arrow has been a really great one as well, just to generate. There it is. Rapdeep and Arrow, 2,400%. There should be the USDC unless they removed it. Nope, it's right here. USDC Arrow at 169%. So what I mean by these pools is you could come in here and allocate liquidity to get into this position, right? So John, as you can see, there's 3.374 million in TVL in here, and your fee tier that you're earning is 0.6%. That is actually very good. And the APR is 2,400. So if you came in here, oh, it looks like you have to connect your wallet. But if you came in here and you provide liquidity, you could generate not only the rewards, but if you staked your position, then you would earn the Arrow token. And if you go back to Dex Screener, we can see the Arrow token has just been absolutely insane.
Welcome, Michael. Both Michaels, welcome.
Hey guys, welcome on in, Michaels.
Smash that like button for us, guys.
So yeah, providing liquidity is not only a great way just to generate yield, but in my opinion, I view it as an alternative to DCA, dollar cost averaging in. If you don't have the funds or money on the side to actually purchase the token you have conviction in, you could just provide liquidity and earn those tokens. And especially you're like, oh, well, if I only have $1,000 and then, it's not going to generate much. I think that's the wrong mindset because again, like, if you were just, yeah, sure, the price action is low, but it's so much higher now, right? If you were just providing liquidity for the past 89 days, the token has appreciated itself about 2.3x. And so even those free tokens you've earned along the way have appreciated as well. So providing liquidity is a great thing to do, not only during a bull market, but a bear market as well, depending on your risk allocation on the tokens, of course. So Tammy, that's a great question for this site. Do you need to monitor for IL, which is impermanent loss? I use Beefy, which manages this for me. How does Aerodrome work? Yes, that's a great question. For Aerodrome, depending on your position and your range, you will have to monitor it yourself. and they have different tiers, just like on Turbos and Cetus, about your APR and the range. So the higher the percentage, the tighter the range. And the reason why is because they concentrate the liquidity, right? If you're concentrating your liquidity in a tighter range, if you look at this specific chart, if we're going to concentrate our liquidity, let me just use the measure tool. Let's just say the price action is right here. If we allocate our percentage into this 4% right here, you're going to earn a greater amount of rewards compared to, this range. So yeah, to give you a short answer, yes, you certainly need to monitor it yourself. And if you aren't able to because of your lifestyle, work, then there are options such as Beefy Finance, Camino Finance, as well, that will automatically manage your positions for you while taking a percentage out of the rewards you earn. Hey, Elaine, welcome. I see you finally made it. Glad to see you here.
Welcome, Elaine. Yeah, I also wanted to go ahead and add to that with Aerodrome. We talked a little bit about this yesterday with Let's Talk Crypto, and how Aerodrome, in my opinion, is a very undervalued token. And we talked about how it's currently at 1 point something billion market cap. So
1.6. Yeah,
yeah,
this is
a lot of
not
people
to
are
cut you
comparing that
off,
to
but this
Uniswap.
is, yeah,
Go
this
for
is insane. This is something that's just, I can't believe this right now. Uniswap, if you've been in the industry, you know that it's one of the leading DEXs on Ethereum, but just to see that Uniswap is deployed on 26 chains. So what this means is that it's compatible with 26 blockchains, as you see, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Polygon Base, etc. So they're deployed across all of those, and their TVL right now is only 472 million on base, while Aerodrome is at 1.65 billion. And sure, they're incentivizing users to come and use them because of the free tokens that you get from Aerodrome. But I think this is a very interesting metric and gives a really big sign of the direction Aerodrome is headed. Now, of course, you can see even with the lower TVL, Uniswap's doing higher fees, which kind of makes sense. The fees are somewhat higher depending on what transaction you do on Uniswap, but the spot volume is, about the same, 637 million to 810 million. But yeah, it's insane. Sorry to cut you off there, John, but yeah,
No, you're
it's
good. You're good.
Aerodrome
No,
is
I just wanted to
one
add
of my
to that,
favorites right now.
like what you mentioned with Uniswap, from last cycle, Uniswap was like the only option when it came to swapping. I wouldn't say the only option. There was another one like Sushi Swap, One
Yep.
Inch, and things like that. But Uniswap was the first one and the traditional one that everybody would go to. Ashabam added with Uniswap now, you could go ahead and do multiple chains. I think you might even be able to bridge directly. Now they added limit orders too. So Uniswap and a lot of these decentralized platforms have become a lot better. It's actually great to see the kind of growth. Now a lot of these tools you could do DC strategies into, which is really cool. Not something you were able to do, but a lot of people have been comparing Aerodrome to Uniswap because Uniswap was the first one on ETH that was like the most popular one, and Aerodrome was the first one on the base chain. And from my understanding and my research, I believe there's some sort of connection between Aerodrome and Base and Coinbase. I'm not sure if that's probably like a brother sister company, but I'm pretty sure that there's some connection there since it is
Yeah.
Coinbase's blockchain, right? So at 1 billion, I think it's a steal in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is it my connection or your connection, Siobhan? It seems like you're cutting off a
Much
little
so
bit.
there lag out.
Okay, there you go. You
I
should
think
be
it
back.
might be both. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, as you said, Aerodrome. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's an official token on Base. I've heard a lot about that in the Base community because Base, they say right now, Jesse, the head developer for Base, says, "Hey, we have no plans of launching a token." And he's also tweeted or casted on Parcaster, which is an app built on Base. It's like a decentralized Twitter. He said that Aerodrome is the native token for Base. So that's very interesting, even though your transaction fees are done on ETH on Base. And these fees are so minimal, less than 20 cents, 5 cents sometimes. But yeah, Aerodrome is, I think, is set up for a launch pad right now, especially with the liquidity just flowing in from Coinbase to their own base blockchain, which is a free transaction and a free withdrawal from a centralized exchange to a blockchain, and just how much incentivization they're doing right now. And if you look at just a quick look at how liquidity is rotating right now, right? If you go to Artemis, excuse me, there, let's see, and we go to flows.
Yes, Mila, you could purchase Aerodrome on Coinbase, which is
Yep,
good.
you certainly can. So if you look, we can see that previously a few weeks ago that, wow, even last night during Let's Talk Crypto, the past 3 months, it was actually Solana that was leading. But if you just go to the past month, let's see, from Ethereum, again, it's to base. So we can see the people and users and liquidity rotating from Ethereum to a layer 2 like base, which makes sense why tokens like Aerodrome, Degen, and some meme coins are just pumping up so hard, right? Ski pumped about 30,000% the past few days. That's absolutely insane. So we can see that even users, I believe, from Solana are going to base right now. So it's always good to capture, these movements right now. So from Solana, again, it's going to SWI, which we just covered previously, and the second option is base. So not surprised there one bit right now. Um, let's see what else right there. Yep. So that is sweet. And then if you change the time to 7 days, we can see again, it's still base is leading it. Arbitrum. I'm always surprised to see Arbitrum. I'm not sure what's really popping off there other than just DeFi and liquidity. Oh, well, Hyperliquid, that's also another thing. I'm wondering if that this includes Hyperliquid right here, right? Because you do have to bridge your assets to Arbitrum.
I
So
think
if that's the
Arbitrum has some
case,
really good pools. I like Arbitrum a lot,
yeah,
man. Like I think Arbitrum, that's what they have to offer a lot. It's the pools. I think in my opinion, between as far as like almost like a layer 2 to ETH, Arbitrum and Based right now, I like those a lot when it comes to providing liquidity. One that actually started taking off a lot too, that I found a few pools that I'll go ahead and share with you guys shortly. It's also been AVAX. AVAX has been picking up. So I'm definitely going to share a few pools with you guys on Beefy. I'll start getting those
yeah.
ready. But yeah, Arbitrum's really good, man. I don't know. I feel like Arbitrum, their liquidity pools is really where it's all coming from. They're really on the DeFi kind of things. Their token hasn't really done
Yeah.
too well though.
Yeah, I feel like Arbitrum's had some issues with their foundation, the Arbitrum Foundation, I believe, and token, what do you call it? Not airdrops, but just allocations. But the entire L2 ecosystem certainly seeing a pump under Ethereum, all the way from, Polygon, Optimism, as well. But Arbitrum is a really great place, especially on Beefy. For those members in the chat that are part of the program, as you guys know, we just launched, DA Accelerator Revamp 4.0, and we utilize Beefy if you've gotten to step 5. And the reason we do it specifically with Arbitrum is there's so many great yields. So for those of you in the chat that haven't signed up, certainly you should, and you can utilize platforms like Beefy we're showing here. Specifically right now, John is showing AVAX, but yeah, Arbitrum has some really juicy opportunities as well for providing liquidity.
Yeah, this is. Let me go ahead and pull out Arbitrum. Where's it at? It's
The
right here.
sixth one from the left.
Yeah,
Yep.
look at that, 5,000.
And
Even
go
the
ahead
800
and
for landed.
toggle that by daily. I see you have it on the APY. Let's see what the daily. It should be the same. Yep, similar. Not much has changed.
Yeah, but that's crazy, man.
Link.
Arbitrum definitely has always had. I feel like they've always had some really good pools,
Yeah.
but the one that's been catching my attention as of lately has been AVAX. This one has been ramping up. This one is not too crazy. Yesterday, I think it was at like 9,000 last night as Bitcoin was
God.
going to 100,000. So anybody that got into that pool that I shared in my office hours, congrats on that. But yeah, they're offering 9,000 now. The TVL has picked up quite a bit. But as John mentioned earlier, it does depend on the pools that you get into and the time. Obviously, they're going to always give you the highest yield in the beginning to incentivize users to provide liquidity. And as people start providing liquidity, those yields start to minimize over time. So this was yesterday. This pool right here, this AVAX USDC on Uniswap was at 9,000 APY, and now it's gone down to 1,000, and their daily was about like 1 point something. which is pretty good. So I'm sure a lot of people made a little bit of money on that, whoever entered those. But
Yeah,
that's the thing with these liquidity pools. Some of them are good for a few days, a few hours, but so far AVAX has been the really underperforming one. And it's good to see that even for USDT, USDC, they're offering 29% right here on Uniswap,
yeah,
which is pretty crazy, right? So these are auto pools. You don't have to worry about impermanent losses, which is a really cool thing. I've been pretty big on AVAX just because it's within the real world asset narrative and also gaming. They already have a pretty big game that a lot of streamers are talking about. But yeah, that's what I like about AVAX. I think it's a undervalued token. Now it's a little bit of priced up now. I probably wouldn't consider buying too much of it. Not financial
it's had
advice,
a
but
massive pump since it
yeah,
bottomed at
y-
18, $20.
yeah, back then it was a good deal. You know, AVAX. I said AVAX at under $30 was a good deal. Now, I don't know about buying AVAX now, but at $30, it was a really good deal. A really good deal with that. I did want to mention too. So I wanted to provide one hidden gem, in my opinion, that I came across yesterday looking at some charts. It's actually the Sushi Swap token, Sushi. You know how we were talking about right now with Aerodrome, so I wanted to bring that to our attention with Aerodrome, Uniswap. Uniswap last cycle went up to $40 a token. So a lot of people are comparing Aerodrome to do the same thing this cycle. So there's a lot of people saying that there's a possibility that Aerodrome could go ahead and go above over $10, which was really interesting because we looked at the market cap of this tool right here. I'm not sure if it's going to load up. I tried pulling it up, but compared to the market cap of Uniswap currently right now of what is it, Aerodrome, we would be looking at over an 8x, I believe. So it's looking pretty good. It's not loading up on my end. I don't know why. Probably it's a dead link or my connection's really bad. But I wanted to share this gem in my opinion. So we have a Sushi token right here that we're now finally seeing some signs of strength, and as well we're seeing a lot of volume picking up. We're
Yeah,
getting
look at
ready
that
to go
green
ahead and
volume
break
candle
out.
on the bottom. Does it
Yeah, look
tell
at
you
this.
what the amount of that volume is on TradingView right
It,
there?
it doesn't. I don't use any specific indicators, but if I also pull out an indicator, which one do you want me to pull out?
You already had the volume one, but I don't think it shows that specifically. I wonder if I can look this up on Dex Screener real quick. Is
You can
this on
also
a centralized exchange pairing or is this
Binance. I always do
Binance?
Binance USDT because
Yeah,
Binance always has the most data from
yeah.
most of the charts. Here, pull it out.
Let's see. It
Share it.
doesn't show it on here as well. No, I'm looking on Dex Screener and it doesn't show that same amount of volume spike. The largest one I see is on 23rd of November, 3 million, but I'm pretty sure that candle we're seeing in there is way over 3 million. That's a massive spike.
Yeah, it's a lot of volume. It looks like it's at 12. Currently, right now, $12 million volume right now, and at the 30-day, it's 16 million. So, uh,
Wow.
definitely showing a lot of strength right now. So, it was back here a few days ago, back in November 9th, from 69 cents now all the way up to like $1.40. Now, in my opinion, since we are seeing this breakout about to happen, I think this could be a relatively pretty good safe play. Obviously, none of this is financial advice, but if we do go ahead and see a breakout above $1.50 and we do see it hold pretty well, that means we will be now creating our new area of support at around 150 to 160, and then we will be pushing to a new price target. Now, can we go ahead and see what or not Uniswap, Sushi Swap hit last cycle, $23? Who knows? But I really do think it's possible between $8 to $16. I think it's very, very doable for Sushi to climb up. And the reason being is because Sushi, if we go over to Sushi, I prefer to use Sushi a lot. I use Sushi over Uniswap now. I switched over to Sushi just because I feel like they have some pretty good fees when it comes to that. But now they've also added multiple tokens. So you actually see right here, we have a few other blockchains that you could go ahead and start dabbling with. One of them being Chronos, which is pretty interesting. But you do have a variety of selection now. And I mostly use Sushi Swap for base. That's what I like to go ahead and do. You could also provide liquidity. It looks like I have a pool right here on Andy that I was trying out. Andy slash ETH, which is a token that I always talk about. But yeah, Sushi Swap, I really like it. They also implemented the DCA strategy on this where you could go ahead and do limit orders and then cross chains, which is really cool. I like Sushi a lot. I've been using this probably for almost about a year. I've made this pivot. I used to not like it too much. I used to always stick to Uniswap, but now because they do have Base, for whatever reason, I just like their user interface. I think it's very simple, easy to use, and it is definitely looking promising. So you could actually go ahead and find Sushi token on Coinbase as well. This is a decentralized exchange token. As I mentioned, something within the narrative of Aerodrome. And like I said, because you could go ahead and swap on Base, that's what I like about it. So I mostly use
Yeah.
Sushi when it comes to Base, Arbitrum, and ETH. I don't really touch ETH too much just because of gas fees. They've been so crazy, man. I was gonna do a
God, man.
transfer yesterday, and it was like
Yeah.
I think the fees were like $20 or $30. I was like,
Oh
this is
man, that's
insane.
cheap. That's cheap compared to what I was seeing
Well, the
yesterday.
worst part,
I paid
I only had
$78 to move
that's insane.
$20 yesterday. I was like, all right, I need this so bad. I was trying to purchase more Aerodrome actually, and I
Yeah,
needed to bridge some ETH for gas fees. So I was like, all right, whatever. It's cost of doing business. But
yeah,
yeah, it was gas prices are heating up again, and I think that is a good metric for bull runs. And specifically, if as a new user coming in, you don't want to be paying $50 to $100 per transaction. You're going to be like, what am I doing? I don't do this when I'm going to the bank to withdraw $20 or an ATM transaction fee, right? We're trying to mitigate and get rid of that essentially with DeFi. So utilizing, Sushi Swap or DeFi on layer twos like Base, where transaction fees are like 5 cents, something so, cookie crumbs that you don't even care about when you're just doing them compared to $50. It's makes a lot of sense. But Sushi Swap's come a long way. Just looking at their
yeah,
website now, they have limit orders, especially from the last cycle.
yep.
It's come a long way, and I do think we're gonna have another DeFi summer, maybe a DeFi winter coming up. We're seeing that heating up across all multiple blockchains, right? Not only Sui, Ethereum layer twos like Base, Solana with Camino, Jupiter, so many opportunities, Cetus as well. So DeFi is a real conversation right now, and it's going to heat up like memes as well. Because I remember a year ago there were tokens like Goose FX that did a 30x within like 24 hours, and and Goose FX is a DEX on Solana as well. So there's going to be so many more tokens that are
And you had
essentially
Bonk
going to
too. Bonk
yeah
took off
bonk as
during
well.
December. Early
Yep.
November, December is when it started to make new all-time highs, and I think that's when it at first approached like what 1 billion plus market cap
Yeah.
around December, like towards the end of December. And yeah, I mean the gas fees is definitely a good sign. It kind of does suck like when you don't have enough gas fees in your wallet prepared. Like I think I only had like $15 in there, so like when I saw the gas fees, I was like, man, I don't even. I now have to
Hey.
go ahead and move money just to go ahead and be
Yep.
able to move money. That's kind of sucks. I waited a few hours and then I made my transaction and it lowered by quite a bit. I went from like 30, I think, to like $9, and I was like, because think I had like 15 bucks in that wallet. So a few months ago, that was more than enough. ETH was
Yeah.
like for a gas, it was like $2,
A few weeks
$3
ago, I
at
feel like,
times.
yeah,
90
yeah,
cents at the most, but like now it's like we're going back to what we saw last cycle. We're making a transaction, as you mentioned, it's going to be like $100, probably $200, and that's the reason why I'm betting on the base chain because of that, because of gas fees. People are going to go ahead and look for that solution, and I do think, in my opinion, even though I'm very bullish on Solana, I just don't think Solana will be able to handle the volume that is going to be coming with very, very soon. So I think that's what's going to make the pivot into a lot of people wanting to go ahead and make that switch into layer twos like Base. So I think Base,
yeah.
being exposed to Solana and Base, in my opinion, right now, it's definitely the move. I know Sui has been picking up on meme coins. I haven't dabbled into that yet, but I think that's going to be the next thing I'm going to be looking at very heavily.
Say as well.
Uh,
Say DeFi is heating up.
really,
Yeah, we're
I know
say
they have.
DeFi
I know
is
they have
heating up.
NFTs. I know they're
Yeah, they
pretty big
do.
on NFTs.
I know our senior DeFi mentor Rami. He's got a few say NFTs, I believe. He knows a lot more about that ecosystem, specifically the NFTs. But yeah, Sol. I know Solana also actually announced this morning that few of their Solana Foundation team members are leaving to actually start a side blockchain to help scale Solana. So that's going to be
No way.
something interesting to see. Yeah, that was some fresh news this morning as well. But another insight onto these large fees, they certainly are, a negative impact for everyday users like us. $50 for a transaction is insane. But if you look at it as a viewpoint from DeFi and as a liquidity provider, if these transaction fees are that high and the percentages are 0.3% that you earn from each, in that pool, it's actually beneficial as well sometimes, depending on which pool you're in. I haven't been providing too much liquidity on Ethereum lately, but I might take a look into that as this bull run heats up.
Yeah.
To I'm guessing there's a lot of people sidelined still sitting on Ethereum, and they need to bridge their assets to Base or Arbitrum or Optimism. And there's going to be a lot of bridging going on, as we saw from that Artemis liquidity rotation from Solana to Base, Arbitrum, from Base to Arbitrum. So it's interesting.
And also, if you think about it, a lot of the top meme coins that are popular that a lot of people know are on Ethereum. They're running on ERC20 blockchain. So, like Pepe, you could provide liquidity to something like that. You could also provide liquidity to something like SHIB. Those are tokens that are doing some crazy, crazy amounts of volume if you were to go ahead and take a look at that. But Ethereum, as you see right here, we are currently at $3,800. We were talking about, I remember just a few weeks ago talking about hopefully seeing this kind of breakout. And we talked about how $3,800 was really the area that we wanted to see a breakthrough to go ahead and start having this market go crazy. And it looks like the market started to go crazy before that. So it's looking really good. We're about to go ahead and approach the previous all-time highs from back of February, where Ethereum reached $4,000. Last cycle, Ethereum reached $4,800, so almost about $5,000. I think it's very doable this cycle for Ethereum to go as high as 8,000 to 12. I think that's very, very possible. I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but if you were to go ahead and measure from where we're currently at right now to around 8,000, that's about a 1x. So it's not impossible. And if you go ahead and look at, like, let's say if we were to approach about 12, I think that's going to be about like roughly like a 2 point something X. It's going to be like 2.17. So $12,000 of Ethereum from a number value, it sounds insane and crazy, but it's not. It's from a percentage, it's only a 2x, which you just saw
Now,
Sui do a 6x. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and I,
Same thing with Bitcoin at 100,000. A lot of people would, whenever I would tell them $100,000 Bitcoin, they're like, John, you're crazy. And I'm like, Bitcoin's at $60,000 or 70. Like, you do realize that's almost like almost a 1x move away from hitting that. You know what I mean? It's not that far off.
yeah, it's actually interesting as well. Now, if Ethereum does, just to put the vantage point out there, the current gold market cap is 17.823 trillion, and the entire cryptocurrency market cap is at 3.619 trillion. Um, and Bitcoin, I believe, is around 1.9 trillion right now. It might have peaked over 2.1 this morning before once it got to 103,000. But for Ethereum to be worth around
Almost at 2
16,000, it would
trillion,
need 2 trillion. Yeah.
1.9. Yeah,
So
1.9.
for Ethereum to get to 16,500 right now, if you look at the market cap comparisons, it would need to, get to Bitcoin's market cap, which is around 2 trillion right now. And that sounds a little, overzealous or long, but I think it's honestly doable when you look at the market cap of gold, which is at 16, and stocks and forex. This industry is still so young, right? We're barely at the total market cap right there. It says it's at 3.61 trillion.
Yeah.
And we're just breaking out of last cycle, right? We're barely on the cusp of. Let me go ahead and pull that chart up real quick and share that if my computer stops lagging. Okay, looks like it's frozen.
You got it? I got it right here if you want. I already got it pulled
Yeah,
up
if you had the
right here.
total crypto market cap, appreciate it. My trading view is spazzing.
My computer's been spazzing out too.
I wonder if it's just a stream. Maybe
It's
that could
probably
be it.
because of the streaming connection.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
But yeah, as you can see, there's the crypto market cap, right? This is a year-long chart we're looking at, I believe, on the daily frame, right? So we've barely just
Oh,
broken out.
what time frame do you want me to put it on? Is this
Oh,
good?
this is fine. Yeah, that's perfect. Daily, this macro, weekly, monthly view is completely fine. But you can see we've just broken out after accumulating in sideways this entire early 2024, breaking out of our previous top and setting a new all-time high last night or even this morning. And now this is the entire total crypto market cap, which includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, altcoins, AVAX, everything. um, there are also other charts that exclude Bitcoin and ETH, and those charts are barely, they haven't even gotten to their previous all-time high. So
Is
that
that
gives
total
us,
two?
I
Total
believe
three,
that's
right?
total two. Yeah, total three.
Total three. There you go.
Oh, it did set a new all-time high last night. Okay, as well. So
Slightly,
you can
yeah.
see, yeah. So it's not an all-time high, but a breakout all-time high,
Yeah.
right? So if you look at this compared to Bitcoin and the previous total crypto chart, it's got so much higher to go. We barely just come up, broken out, and we still have so much liquidity still flowing in. And the same thing goes for the DeFi market caps or
Is that
market caps
others or is that
excluding
total two?
Bitcoin.
Total two,
It
right?
should
Total two.
be, yeah, total two. Yep. Excluding Bitcoin right there. So that this
Yep.
includes ETH. So you can see the similarities on all of these charts. The liquidity is flowing in institutionally, retail, and we're on the cusp of setting a new all-time high in market cap. And again, we're just such a young
Up
industry,
and
even though
handled
it's
too,
been
man.
14 years. Yeah, exactly.
The same
The
thing that
most bullish thing
Bitcoin
you can see.
had the breakout. Like it's pretty
Exactly.
crazy.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, my bullish target for this, I would love for it to get over 5 to 10 trillion. Institutional money, I feel like could get us there. Banana zone. So it's insane.
And this is others right here.
Yeah.
So we're like we barely broke on the previous all-time high, at least for total two. But for the other one, for the regular one, we barely touched it by like I think it was like three because it was like 1.14 trillion last cycle, and I think we just hit 1.18 trillion. So that's pretty good. I think we're gonna probably hit over 6 to 8. What do you think, man?
Yeah, again, I think about 6 to 9. 10 would be an awesome psychological number to breach through. But a nine is, I believe, a 2x from here, right? Or a little just shy of that. So if we could get there, I'd be super bullish. Again, like last cycle, we did about a 2 to 3x. So if we did that just now, we'd be right around that soft banana zone from 9
1.5.
trillion.
That'd be
Yeah.
like about 1.5. Last cycle, if you kind of look at it, man, last cycle was insane. We did a 20x on
God, a 20x, I think, takes us to 20 trillion, maybe.
100 billion to as high
60, yeah.
as 3 trillion, which is pretty crazy. So I don't think we'll hit that this cycle. I mean, it's possible. I don't think so. But I think at the highest, if we're talking a little bit about like Moon Boy talk, I think 12 trillion is very, very doable. Anything above that, I don't know. I don't know
Man,
about
if
going
we
anything
if we
over
do
about
another
12 trillion.
29x, if we do another 29x to get to 50 to 60 trillion, this entire industry is it basically, just it's like the Trojan horse in Greek mythology. We're at the wall and we're knocking in and we're about to breach it. That would be absolutely insane if the market cap did a 20x.
Even at
It
12
would be,
trillion, though, we were to hit 12
yeah.
trillion. That's only about 200 to a 2x, almost roughly a 3x. But I think it's very doable for us to break past 6 trillion. But we'll see where things go. I mean, right now, if we were to measure from its bottom back in 2022 to where we're currently at, the market has already done about a 3.5, so almost a 4x, call it, from what we're currently at. And if we were to hit six, that would take us to a 7. And if we were to go ahead and go above to a 12, that would roughly take us to about a 14x, which actually sounds pretty doable if you really think
Yeah.
about it. Because we just hit last cycle, we hit about 20 something x from 100 billion to about almost 3 trillion. That is insane, right? So a 14, it's taking us from where we're currently at right now, 3 trillion to 12 trillion. It doesn't seem impossible. I think it'll definitely take a lot of people by surprise because I'm not
Yeah.
expecting 12 trillion. I think breaking past 6 trillion is going to be pretty good. But 12 trillion, man, That's going to be definitely exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm also curious on how much money and liquidity these institutions like BlackRock, Grayscale push into the market on a daily basis. You know, there was a few weeks ago where they were pushing over $1 billion in Bitcoin ETFs in every single day for a week. And you know that amount for the next 6 months, God, that's just FOMO for a lot of institutions globally. So I can certainly see that target being hit in the
Yeah.
bull run banana zone for
I want
sure.
to ask you this though. I want to ask you this question. We're about to be ending this very soon, but do you really feel like retail has really came in yet? Like I feel like retail is barely coming in, man. Like barely coming in. I feel like retail is not there yet.
I feel like yes and no from the social media marketing and like when I open Instagram, I see a lot of meme coin traders, but I don't know if that's just my algo because I'm in the industry. But I would skew towards no if because a lot of my normal friends they're still skeptical on a lot of
Yeah,
this, and I even helped onboard a few this past weekend with Coinbase, and they had really good rates on some tokens as we discussed last night in Let's Talk Crypto. But I think the mass amount, like the FOMO that was there around the last market top, that's not there yet, and I think that's only there at the market top. I think that's a market top
yeah,
signal for sure.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
and right now, even last night, as we discussed, right, the altcoin searches are at an all-time high, which is around the peak of 2021, right there, that little orange circle to the left. So it's an interesting metric, right, where the search for altcoins is at 2021 levels. We're definitely going to go past that. Meme coins, so much more coming in. Real world assets are being discussed every day on CNBC. So I think retail investors that want to invest are here, but not like the everyday Joes. They're
yeah.
still in stocks for
I think
sure.
I think
Yeah.
now that Bitcoin's at 100,000, and it's pretty interesting. We talked about this
Yeah.
on Let's Talk Crypto too. I mentioned how once we break $100,000, that's going to be like the new marketing tool. Like Bitcoin 100,000, you're going to see it all over the headlines. You're going to be hearing it all over the news. We're probably going to have Trump say something about it too, because he's going
He
to say
already
he's the first
did.
one. Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I didn't even see.
Yeah.
So like,
My
this is
buddy
good,
who
man.
works, my buddy who actually is a sports anchor at a local news station, he's the one who sent me this tweet about Trump from his Truth Social, I believe, saying,
Uh,
"Congratulations, Bitcoiners. It's at 100K, and this is the new future and economy being built in the US," which I feel like is a very bullish tweet, personally, from or whatever they call it on Truth Social tweet, cast, whatever, right? But yeah, it's certainly interesting. What do you think about XRP, Jugas? Oh man,
to the moon.
it's we got one person saying the moon. What's the opposite of moon? Like the Earth's inner core, the
I think
most
look,
bottom of bottoms. You know.
I've always had a salty taste with XRP, but I was I was one of the very few. I didn't really like XRP. I would say XLM, but I do think that because of the whole entire stable coin with XRP being a stable coin, I do believe XRP has a capability of going around $6 to $8. I think $8 might be pushing it, but I think $6 is very, very doable. I think what might happen is that we're going to go ahead and get a lot of people shorting, which I've already seen on Twitter. People are going to start shorting XRP like crazy. And once it finds its bottom, wherever that is, its support, I do think we're going to have another squeeze leg to the upside, and we could be approaching $6. So short term, would I buy into XRP now? No. If you're holding on to XRP, take profits. I wouldn't say sell all of it because I do think $6 might be approaching very soon. But overall, XRP, XLM, those are probably you're late to the party on this. I wouldn't
I got a
consider it, in my
completely
opinion.
opposite view of John. You know, a few weeks ago, this same buddy of mine, the sports anchor, he messaged me. He was at some bar and some random guy was they were chatting about me and he was saying my daughter wants me to get into XRP. And I have these screenshots and texts where I was like, yeah, I wouldn't do it. Excuse my language, but my text to him was it's a boomer crypto token. If you own it, you don't want to own it now. Get into it. You're just exit liquidity. And I feel like this chart is headed for zero. But then again, there's a lot of legal and SEC things coming out about potentially, having a ETF or stablecoin issuance. I saw something about 9 trillion, which I don't buy, but you know, it's XRP is
What market cap is
cultish.
it at? It is cultish, but that if you kind of think about it, like this is the
Yeah,
same. XRP right now reminds me of the battle that we had with AMC and GameStop last cycle during the stock
retail.
era.
That's the thing. The
Retail.
retail marketing for XRP is insane
It
because
is.
this guy was telling me, I was texting, we were having a just a long text message back and forth. I was like, no, man. And his buddy kept saying, he's like, my daughter's saying it's going to be the global banking system. It's going to replace everything. I was like, does she have actual information, or is she hearing this from Facebook or Instagram? He's like, yeah, she's hearing it from Facebook. I was like, all right, then she's being part of this mass social media, you know, marketing by someone, XRP team or whomever it may be. But as a disclosure, I've been a big hater of XRP and don't own any, and I am, of course, miss out on the pump, unfortunately. So
Yeah, I didn't really like XRP too. I think it was like a whole entire thing with the quote with the retail. I think it was a
yeah.
lot of promises and a lot of delays. Like imagine if you were holding on to XRP since back over here, like it really didn't do anything. But that's kind of the reason why I was a little bit bullish on XRP and XLM because I'm like everybody's in denial. Everybody's cheering for XRP to go down, and usually when that happens, look at what happened with AMC and GameStop in the stock market. It does the complete opposite. So
Cardano as well.
usually
All
Cardano, so usually when people are so against something, it usually does the opposite. So
the
that's the
hated
signs I look
rally.
for. That's what I look for. So the moment we enter where everybody's so excited about crypto, I'm going to be taking profits because I'm like, okay, I think we're near top because that's the same attitude that happened last cycle. Michael Saylor was getting in, Elon was talking about crypto, and then the top of the market came in,
Oh
right?
yeah, the
So
SNL Doge thing. I think that actually was
SNL, yeah.
the macro top for Doge last cycle when he went
Yeah, it
on
was around
SNL.
March,
Yeah,
April, I think,
yeah, I
around there.
remember.
That was the
So
top.
I told
Yeah,
my
that was the
buddy
top
who's
for
been in it
altcoins.
since college to sell at that night, and he didn't, and he's still holding his bag. Good for him, but
Well, I
it's
hope he takes profits, but XRP is a
nah,
good
he's
man. If
not.
you think about it, if you think about it, XRP. Hey, AD, welcome. Uh, look, this is the last thing I'm going to say about XRP. The good thing about XRP is that it's going to bring in a lot of institution. It's going to retail interest is what I meant to say. It's going to bring in a lot of more retail interests, and we need more retail interest to come in to go ahead and use that as exit liquidity as the token starts to go ahead and pump, right? So that's going to go ahead and bring in more people into the space because of XRP, but then they're going to go ahead and those that are interested in the space are going to go ahead and learn from that. And they're going to start dabbling into DeFi, other blockchains, other coins. So I think XRP, even though I don't have a XRP bag. I didn't trade XRP. I never really liked XRP. I've always ended up in fights with people talking about XRP because they always gave me
Yeah,
crazy price targets. They're like, XRP is
yeah.
going to $1,000. I'm like, do you know what kind of market cap that is? Like, that's impossible, man. Like maybe in like 4 years, but $1,000 like from the market cap, it's not doable, right? If you look at the $6 mark that I mentioned, that's only a 2x from last previous all-time high from last cycle. So $6 is not unrealistic. But I do think that
Six
XRP is going to
dollars.
be one of those where watch, man,
The
we're gonna be talking about XRP in the next coming weeks. I already see this coming.
Uh,
I already
God,
see this coming. Will I
I'm
buy
gonna have
XRP
so
now?
many memes
No.
made
I,
fun of
I
me.
would I
Like,
wouldn't touch XRP now. I'm probably gonna wait for this thing to top and then I'm gonna short it because that's gonna be very fun writing it down. But no, yeah,
I
XRP I think
will.
six to $8 is very very
Yeah,
doable.
I would like to add that I'm already seeing like these posts about why can't XRP get to 10,000 if Bitcoin got to 100,000. I actually saw this morning, and I just literally pressed the power button on my phone. I was like, I don't want to see this. But there is a lot of retail marketing going on like that, right? If Bitcoin got to 100K, what's stopping XRP from getting 10,000 or 1,000, right? It's a lot of this moon math, as we call it in the industry, and it doesn't add up. For it to even get to that much of a market cap, for it to be worth even $1,000 or $10 or 10,000, it's going to require a lot of retail money to come in, liquidity,
That's not
and
gonna be
the
anytime soon.
institutional whales, they will dump on those people. And we're kind of already seeing it now, right? It pumped up, and there's been kind of a profit taking. And again, there's plenty of footage of me being a XRP hater, and I feel like I had to continue it now.
Hey, check
It's
this
just
out.
in me.
I've been
Yeah.
hearing about XRP that Ripple has now like meme coins. You could get like XRP meme coins. So I don't know,
Oh
man.
God.
Yeah, if people start trading like meme coins on the Ripple network, like that could possibly take it over the $6 mark, man. You got to think about it.
Let me
Like I
let me ask you this
look at
though.
it this
This
way. Look at it this way. Wait, hold on. Look at it this way. I had
Yeah.
my cousin that I just got into crypto literally 2 weeks ago. And I talked to him and he's like, man, like, thank you. Like, this is doing so much better than stocks. And he's happy. And then I'm like, hey man, like what have you done? And he's like, oh yeah, I've taken some of the profits and the tokens you told me and I bought some XRP. And I was like, I didn't even say anything. I'm like, why is he buying XRP now? And I'm like, okay, the
that's
masses are
the
going to start hearing this.
marketing. Yes.
Marketing,
Yes.
retail's
Yeah.
going to start buying XRP at these tops, which even with the $6 price tag, guys, that I'm talking about, or even $8, if you go ahead and measure it from a percentage standpoint, you're not really going to be making too much gains. To $6, it's about to be roughly almost a 1.7x, and if you want to hit
That's
a
not.
and $12 is going to be a 4x, which you could find on the token like Sushi, Aerodrome has over a 3-4x potential still left.
Doge,
Degen,
Bonk. Yeah.
Loki,
DJ.
those are lower risk in my opinion. This is too
Market
much
caps
hype.
as well.
It's just too risky. I wouldn't touch this now. If you were in XRP, congrats. And if you're still holding, congrats. But I wouldn't enter XRP now. I think you're too late to that party.
I mean, its market cap increased by 22 billion in one day, I believe, and sitting at 133 billion. It overtook Solana. And if you're going to ask me which token I would much rather use in decentralized finance, DeFi, NFTs, trading, whatever, it would be Solana. It would be whatever is in comparison to XRP. It could be Ethereum, Base, Sol. I'd even take Degen, which is a meme coin with utility, and they even launched earlier today additional tokens so users can use DeFi on it, right? But yeah, XRP is phenomenal right now to see it. Even Cardano, right below Dogecoin, it's pumped up. So, which had about, I believe, a $700 million increase in its DeFi activity this past week. So there's
Hey,
some,
let's be honest though, for the XRP communities, man, I give it to them. Imagine holding on to a
yeah,
token that has been a stable coin that hasn't done. I used to be an XRP maxi at one point, and that's probably why I no longer hold XRP because it never did anything. It was basically a stable coin for a while. But congrats to everybody that has been holding on to XRP and to the XRP maxis. I mean, I can't imagine holding on for years without no movement. like and it barely gets some movement. Everybody's excited, but I mean that's good. Like
it
I said,
reminds me
I
of
wouldn't
Safe
consider
Moon.
XRP.
You remember Safe Moon
I
last
remember
cycle
that.
where the marketing and everything just took off? It was a catalyst, and it just like pumped. Well, Safe Moon turned out to be a Ponzi, by the way, just as a disclaimer. XRP isn't a Ponzi. I mean, they kind of officially beat a SEC case. So there's so many things. I think the retail masses have been lured in with XRP, and I give it to them. It's been really great marketing. If Ethereum, Solana, or Bitcoin, if they had a marketing team and were pushing these kinds of memes and numbers every day on Facebook, man, it would Bitcoin might be at 1 million, Ethereum might be at 100,000. Like it's really insane
100%.
to see how much liquidity is being grabbed from just the retail market right now.
This is something I definitely want to say. So remember that in the space that we're in, guys, we're in a space about community, right? Community is very, very important, and I think as I mentioned, my dislikes with XRP and everything, like they were a community with all the negativity that was going on. SEC lawsuit, like the worst happened, and people were still believing it, which is insane, right? But you got to remember, this is the same way that a lot of these meme points take off. It's because of community. So crypto is really all about community. The blockchains are as well. As long as there's a good foundation of a community, usually the token always takes off. That's why Dogecoin did very well. That's why SHIB did very well. So
Bonk, yeah, same.
Bonk, you know what I mean? A lot of these tokens are basically just running on community. So that's why take profits, take profits, because a lot of this it's like it's just really community. A lot of it sometimes just pumps because of community believing it so much,
Yeah.
pushes the price action up. Even though the blockchain might not be the best, or it might not be anything too crazy to talk about, but as long as there's a community behind it on a token like a frog, like Pepe or Moondag or things like that, those tokens are always going to outperform the tokens that have utility with zero community, because you need to have a community in these in the space, specifically these tokens. And if you don't know how to market themselves pretty well, they're not going to be able to capture new investors. And that's what I would say for XRP. Congrats on them, but I think that's definitely going to bring in more retail interest, which is going to bring in more liquidity for our space, which is good. But with that being said,
Yeah.
man, do you have anything else before I do the outro so we can go ahead and get going?
Yeah, just want to add to the, the aspect of community there. We're a pretty big community here at Decentralized Masters, especially with the mentors and members in the chat. If you're an XRP holder, just as a full disclaimer, we don't give financial advice or anything. Jim, you just read my mind. I was just going to say it's not
Great
a bad
job.
time to take profits on XRP right now, because it just did a 4x, and you haven't seen this kind of liquidity inflow or price appreciation in years. I believe the last massive pump for this was last cycle, maybe on that chart you were showing. So it's not a bad time to take profits if you'd like to. And if you do, you could certainly join our community and see all of these other ways to generate passive income as well. So just wanted to add that. But yeah, well done, Jim. It's a great trade.
Yeah, welcome as well, Jim. Congrats. That was definitely a good purchase. And Mila, that's good that you're still holding on to Dogecoin. Definitely just the beginning of the market. Remember, guys, take profits, treat yourself. We really don't know how high this market will go. I think we're just in the beginning, but it never hurts to take profits, right? I wouldn't say sell your whole bag, take 20, 30%, leave a little bit in there for whatever token you have, maybe 10, 20%. But with that being said, guys, I really appreciate all of you guys tuning in today. Thanks for this episode that we had. Talking about the strategies here with Shivam, as we always do. Make sure to join us here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as well, if you want to go ahead and go more into a little bit more into strategies with the mentors like myself, Shivam, where you could actually go ahead and talk to us, you could go ahead and use the link down below. And if you are interested into joining the decentralized private group, I definitely would say there's a lot of value there. And during a time like this in the
Oh yeah.
market, even if you have experience, I think having a good community is definitely important when it comes to this, especially now. I'd say you need more of a community now that you did during the bear market. Now that we are in a bull run, a lot of people, and I could confirm this, people are not going to be looking out for when the top is. You're not even going to realize when the top is. So joining a community now, whether it's Decentralized Masters or someone else, we would recommend ours, of course. It's highly recommended. With that being said, guys, we really appreciate all of you. Smash that subscribe button, that like button as well. Thank you, seeing you, Mila, as well. With that being said, guys, hope you all have a good one, and see you guys soon. See you guys next week. Take care.
Later, guys. Have a great week.